Hi, I'm going to be doing a short video for the MX5 Mazda Miata NC Mark III. I'll be replacing the rear hub and suspension due to, on mine, there's going to be a problem with the wheel bearing, so I'm going to replace the whole assembly, and it's going to be a short video on how to do that. Hopefully it's my first one, so bear with me and let's see how it goes. I'll be taking this whole assembly, which is my replacement one, and then taking it over to the car and removing all that's on my car to replace the wheel bearing. So I'll be disconnecting the caliper, removing the disc, disconnecting the ABS sensor wire, disconnecting the shock absorber, disconnecting the anti-roll bar, and then obviously taking all the bolts out which hang all the control arms on the car. There's 5 in all. Let's see how it goes. Okay, first things first, what you need to do is where you've got your concentric bolts on your lower control arms, you need to mark their positions so that you can return them back to their original position. So what I did is that I've used a centre punch and just marked the washer against the body on that one, and on that one back there, just about to see it covered in copper grease. Before you remove them, just mark the washer, and on the subframe just a little centre dot so that you can put them back in their original positions. But obviously once you have replaced everything, I would advise you go and get the car realigned, just to make sure everything's back to factory settings. And on the drive shaft spline, you've got a staked or deformed edge on your bolt or nut. Just bring that out of the keyway on your shaft so that it doesn't foul up on the threads. Put the car into neutral, apply the handbrake, and then the first job is to get a good socket, in this case a 32mm socket, and undo this hub nut so that it's loose when you come to removing the drive shaft. Okay, so I've undone the nut in the centre for the hub, which was a pain in the arse. Had to get a 3/4 inch breaker bar on there with a 32mm socket. So now that's loose, ready to be tapped through once everything else is undone. So next I'm going to undo the 2 caliper carrier bolts, which are 14mm. Okay, I've removed the brake caliper, just left it hanging down there a little bit. I'll try and tie it up in a second. So yeah, the bolts have been taken out the caliper, which are from these 2 points here. Put the nuts away for safe storage, and then the brake disc itself can be removed, which exposes the brake disc guard. dust guard, whatever you want to call it. So the next job will be probably the shock absorber mounting, which is down here, which is undone I think by a 17mm bolt. See you in a minute. Hopefully you can see that, but I've taken out the 17mm bolt out of the shock absorber. The shock absorber is quite stiff in place, so it'll just slide off the shaft that it's on, which is part of the rear hub. So that's free. The next job is undoing one end of this anti-roll bar drop link, which I'll probably undo the bottom end so that it stays on the car ready to be connected to the bottom control arm once the new one's been installed. Okay, as you can see, the anti-roll bar drop link is now detached from the bottom control arm. So now what's left to do is all 5 control arm bolts, which are holding the whole assembly onto the car. Those 2 there, and you've got one down there, one up there, and then the one tucked under the subframe itself. All of those will need to come out, and then the whole lot should be free. All that's left is to pass the spline through the centre of the hub, and the whole lot should be free. Just a reminder to mark the positions of your concentric bolt washers in relation to the body or the subframe, so that they can go into quite a close position to where they were set from the factory. Okay, so we've got one control arm undone, which is the top rear. I've put the bolt very local to where it came out, because these bolts might be different lengths. So that's that one. And then the top front control arm is now undone with its bolt local. So all that's left now is the 3 lower ones. That one, and that one there, which is subsequently the largest bolt size, which is a 19mm nut. I'll catch you in a minute. Okay, so I've got the 2 lower front control arms detached, as you can see there, and I've put the bolts local again so that they can go in the same place. And then this last one is your lower rear control arm. That's out as well, and as you can see, the shock absorbers almost left the hub as well there. So all I'm going to do now is get my 3-legged puller and pop it on there and encourage the shaft to pass through the hub, and that'll be the last step before it leaves the car. Catch you in a minute. Okay, we're inside the boot, and I've just removed the emergency jack sort of inside cover in the boot. By doing that, removing these little center retaining clips. There's one in the bottom there, 2 there, two there, and then on the back of the boot there's 1 and 2 there, so that makes 6 clips you need to remove. And then the ABS sensor cable is connected to this white connector block on the main harness inside the boot. So disconnect that, and all you need to do is just pass it through the inner wheel arch, which would then give you the freedom to pull it out from outside, and then that'll be free to come away from the car. And I've used my puller and I've pushed the spline shaft back through the hub, which is practically free moving now. So that's all that's holding this hub assembly on. Okay, so as you can see, the whole hub assembly is now removed from the car. I've suspended the caliper out the way to help hang the new hub assembly, and the drive shaft is suspended in its rough position so that once the hub slides on, the shaft for the shock absorber will be quite close to. I've lubricated the spline with some copper grease, as well as all the bushes on the new hub assembly to the car, and also the bearing face and spline inside the hub too. So that's practically ready to go on. The ABS sensor is with this hub assembly, so I won't be using my old one because they're notoriously hard to remove. And when I come back, I should have the whole hub assembly hanging in place. Catch you in a minute. Welcome back. As you can see, I've got the whole new hub back on. Everything is torqued down. All the bolts are in the control arms at their ends. The anti-roll bar drop link is in. The bolt for the shock absorber is in. I wound back this caliper to fit this new disc because I suspected this disc was warped due to the bearing being out of square or not running true, as a precaution. So all that's left to do is torque down that centre hub nut to about 235 Newton meters according to the online PDF workshop manual, and then wheel and wheel nuts, and that'll be the job complete. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen today, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.